Yeah. So day 68, and we need to create the project first. So we have studied what is Vite, a Node.js project, a Node.js helper utility to give you simple development experience. So let's create the Vite application first. So here you can say getting started. So can you tell me command npm create Vite latest, and we need to create the vanilla app, right? Now you know what do you mean by npm. So let's paste this npm create Vite latest. On my machine nvm use 18, I have multiple versions of Node, and here you can say npm create Vite latest. So what would be your project name? So here we can say billing counter management, BCM, and JS in plain JavaScript. Hit the enter. Can you see vanilla means what? Vanilla JS, Vue.js, React, Preact, Lit, Civilt, and other things. Just hit enter to the vanilla, and I want to select which programming language? JavaScript. Okay. So cd bcmjs, I entered into this, and we have seen there are the node commands. Here you go, and if you want to run the dev server, npm run dev. Okay. Now can you see localhost 5173? Your Vite application is running localhost 5173. Now do you remember if you remember, you were giving a link of this HTML. So you were opening this HTML file into the browser. Do you remember this or not? You were opening this HTML file. So it was something like this, reveal in Finder, and just open that in browser. Okay, this is the day 60. We need to have 68. Reveal in Finder. Hit the enter. So you were doing this thing, right? But this is not working over here. What's the reason? This is not working over here. What's the reason? So what is happening internally? Can you see a simple JavaScript application also it has given? See, a plain JavaScript DOM application. It has given simple DOM application. If you want to see the project structure, day 68 main.js simple JavaScript have been created. Then index.html, that script have been added into the file, and something is getting dynamically added to this app. Can you see that? This div query selector hash app means what? It is targeting this div, and into this div you are placing one another div, and this thing is happening automatically. We need to delete all these files, so we don't need this file, so just delete it. Just delete everything, we don't need it. And here we can say BCM, billing counter management. Okay, this counter.js also we don't need, delete it. So we just have key. Now what is remaining? Just remove this svg file also, but this package.json required, style.css is required, package.json is required, and style.css is required. You know what do you mean by this style.css? So style.css is already style.css. We need to import. We need to import the style.css. If you go to the main.js, just a minute. Okay, we deleted the main.js. I would like to show you one thing. Can you see? You have something called as import over here. Now, this is the ES6 feature. Consider that you have two JavaScript files. Okay. Consider that you have two JavaScript files. So I will create, just close this, close this, close this. And here I can say new file a.js, and here we can say b.js, a.js, b.js. So in a a.js, I need to write a function, call it, and console.log, I am calling function. I am calling what? Function. Call it. And here if you can say I am calling function. Now I want to use this function into this b.js file. I want to use this function into this file. So how do you do that? How do you do that? This can be done by means of ES6 import and export. One of the feature, there is a one of the feature, yeah, go to the official website. Can you see here? So one of the feature is given to you. The static import declaration is used to import read-only bindings which are exported by another module. Now here if you see, in order to use the import declaration in a source file, the file must be interpreted by the runtime as a module. Now see here. So in HTML, this is done by adding type module to the script tag. Can you see? You can add type module to the script tag, or if it is a node project, can you see? Here you have written the type module. So this thing is important. So if you want one thing to be exported from one JavaScript file and imported to another JavaScript file, call it. Can you see? Now see here, you have exported this function. You have exported this function from this JavaScript file, and you can import that function into this b.js file. Are you getting my point? Hello? Am I audible or not? A simple ES6 feature. If you see here, so this is the official page. You can check the things over here, right? ES6 in-depth modules. What do you mean by modules? Import and export. So what you can import and export? These many things you can import and export. See, these are the different ways of importing. So from one file you can export many things. Export const you can say pi is equals to 3.14, and you can import it here also. Import anything, pi from a, and you can say console.log pi. Okay, export function. Can you see export and import? So this gives you, so in this case ES6 calls this file as a module, and ES6 calls this b.js as b module. A module, b module. Correct? ES6 calls this A file as A module, and this thing is called as B module. And in the Node.js also calls this as A module and the B module, right? And that's why it's a node modules. Did you get this or not? Hello? Hello?
These are just different files, right? We are
Yeah,
like utilizing,
correct.
although we are calling it modules, but these are just a different same
Files,
files, and we
yeah,
are calling one from another one.
correct. That's it. Who gives you this ability? ES6 modules, right? So there are important things. While you import the script, can you see type module? Writing here type module is important. That's what they have written here. In order to use an import declaration in a source file, the file must be interpreted by the runtime as a module. In HTML, this is done by adding type module to the script tag. Modules are automatically interpreted in a strict mode. Type module, this thing is important. So whatever scripts you will write, right? Now if you want to use this A and B over here, you can simply add script src source A type module. This file needs to be considered as module, and the B, this file is also considered as a module, correct? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, yes, got it.
And if you go to the main.js, and can you see counter.js file? So this counter.js file is not added anywhere in this. If I control Z, so this is the main JS file. And whatever imports will happen, if you go to the main JS file, you have imported the setup counter. So setup counter is a function in a counter.js file. You can import the CSS also like this. You can import the images also. Can you see this is the image, this is the image, this is the JS file. So ES6 gives you one more powerful. We have seen a lot of ES6 features, and one of the feature is a modules, arrow functions, another, right? Spread operator, another feature, a lot of other things. Okay, so let me delete this a.js, or let's keep it, no problem. Now let's go to the repository. Now remember that we have completed our session, we have completed our course, and now we are working with the project. Now we are working with what? The project. So billing counter management, this one, wireframes billing counter, this thing. And now we need to design this screen, right? So tomorrow and day after tomorrow, I will help you in building these things. And after that, till day 80, you need to complete whole and soul project. So you will, if you have not implemented this thing in a HTML CSS, right, you need to do it from beginning. But same thing I had given once we have completed HTML and the CSS3. Designing, just design the pages, right? Hello? You already have designed these things. Yes or no? Now what's remaining? Adding the JavaScript to these files. Correct? So how this can be done? So BCM.js, a plain JS. So after this, we are going to do this in a React also. But few of you guys will not be there for React. But here, that would be in a plain JS. So let's create a new file, and here I can say login, or to the index.html, login.html, correct? Login.html. So how this thing will happen? HTML5, correct? Here we can say login. So here we can have main. Inside main we can have input type text, input type password, input type button, say OK. We can say placeholder, what is there, email. So design you already have done, correct? Hello. So design wise I will not go there. Password, password. Now here we can create a separate folder called as login, and all the login related things will put in a login. Okay, and here we can say login.js. So we need to import that file. You can refer the code which has given to you. Can you see script has been added at the end of the body? Similarly, at the end of the body module, and login.js. Okay, now see, how do you run it? If you want to run it, you don't need to go here and put the HTML over here like this. That's what I was explaining. So here you can go /login and /login.html. Can you see? So internally it has created a web server, a development level web server. Internally it has created what? A development level web server, and the HTML file has been posted, and HTML file has been posted on that dev server. So who is doing this thing? Who is doing this thing? Node modules. A Vite is having internally a development server. So you don't need to go separately over here and put the link. Can you see? On the local machine, it has created one web server, and /login is the folder on that server. Can you see? /login is the folder, and inside that login.html is there, and you just need to put login.html. Localhost 5173 login login.html. You getting that?
Yes.
So you don't need to paste the links of the files separately. You don't need to paste links of the files separately the way we were doing earlier. The way we were doing earlier, you don't need to do that thing. Why we use a Vite? We use a Vite for this kind of sophistication. Everything related to development, you'll get everything ready platform, right? Can you see? It has created one dev server internally. Localhost : so this thing is called as on the local IP address on the local machine. 5173 is called as port. /login is the folder on the server, and inside that folder there is a login.html file. There is a login.html file. Correct? Hello? Now we have imported this file. This thing would be called as module. Login.html, login.js would be the module. Now here, what we need to do, if I click on this login button, let's create one more folder called as new folder dashboard, and here we can say dashboard.html, HTML5, and here simply I can say h1 dashboard. Now if you go here, just change it, dashboard. Auto reload functionality is there, dashboard.html, dashboard, DASH. Can you see dashboard? Now what I wanted to do, if I click on this input type submit, we can say submit, and let's make this guy as a form tag, a form tag. Form means what? There are controls. There are what? Controls. Control means what? This input, this, what you can say, this input, and input type submit. Now if you go over here, /login and login.html, can you see page is getting submitted? Can you see? If you see, I'm clicking OK and there is a refresh effect. Hello? Can you see that?
Yes.
There is a refresh effect over here. There is what? Refresh effect over here, which means that form is getting submitted. Form is getting submitted. Form submission is there. So this part related to the form submission we will see tomorrow. Okay? Form submission. I have pushed the code, you can check it. Yeah, and I'm stopping the recording. Thank you.
Yes.